We're installing an Android radio on this 2015 Chevrolet Silverado. That's the before picture. Here's the unit we're going to use. It comes with the trim panel and all the harnesses required for the job. This is going to be the new look. For the most part, the connections are pretty much plug and play. The antenna wire there, GPS antenna wire there, and the main power connector there. So this is pretty much, you can't mix match them, they all go in a certain spot. Pretty simple installation. I'm gonna get them on there and we'll go from there. Okay, here we are, everything plugged in. Here we have the GPS. Here, this is an antenna wire. We may not need that depending on what the truck has behind the dashboard. This here is your camera. This is how your camera would be connected. This would have to go to reverse light and of course a good ground. And here's your camera. Here's some of the other wires that these are USB, 2 USB cables that are there and there. Here's another connector with your different options, and of course your aux cord, it goes to that one, that connector. And the one in the middle with the 2 white wires, that comes from this main harness for the power. So for now, this is the harness I'm going to use. I would have to look behind the dash to see if this is the correct one, but for now that's the one I'm going to use. Here's some additional harnesses. This is for a different option, I believe, so we'll see. Hopefully I got the right one chosen. And that's what's left. So we're gonna take the dash apart and we'll get back. We're back. A couple items required to pull this bezel off. Is a little pry bar, plastic pry bar, so you don't damage any of the plastic. I have a screw gun, which with an 8mm socket is the socket you'll need, whether you use a ratchet or a socket, but it's an 8mm. I mean, sorry, 7mm. Correction, it is a 7mm socket. And an additional flashlight in case it gets dark back there. So we'll start with taking the trim pieces off. They're normally not this easy. I already kind of took it apart, but it has some clips, and here's the location of them to make it easier on you. That could be your pry points. From there, we're going to remove 4 7mm bolts. The other side, hard to see back here. That's it. Completely remove all 4. And pull it out. This one only has 2 connectors we're going to unplug. And let's take a look, see what else we got back here. And we're going to unplug for the AC to make it easier us to work on. And that's the removal process. Okay, I've got everything installed for now, everything plugged in. The one thing I didn't do a video on is the AC controls here. I popped it out of the old unit and put it into the new one. It's a fairly simple process. On each corner it has little tabs there. You just get a small flathead screwdriver and pry them until the whole AC control assembly comes out. But let me see, I'll show you guys the look after installing it onto the Android assembly. One thing I do want to bring up is earlier I had two USB cables hooked up to this, and I had to change one of them out. One of them, which is this one here, which runs to the radio. It was at the back of the radio. I'm not sure exactly what this connection is called, but that's what I used. So I plugged that in. See if I can get it back in. Now the harness that I had chosen earlier was the incorrect one. I actually have to use the one that was green because see, I have green connectors here. So I switched that out, which was fairly simple. I disconnected the green connector, the gray connector, the antenna wire, and this one. You disconnect this gray connector, which is in the corner here, and do not connect it. If you have this connected, your radio, Android radio, will not work. So you can just tuck that away. You will not be needing that. And also at the bottom, this is for AC control unit. You disconnect that. And there's one more here. Here, this one I also disconnected from the factory radio. You will not be using this. So you can discard, well, not discard, but put this away. You will not need it. And you will not need this gray one. So other than that, is all connected. Turn that light in a different direction there. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead route. Oh, and don't forget, before I forget to mention, this is your door chime. So you have to swap it depending on what harness you use. You have to swap the chime and put this box on there. Other than that, I'm about to put everything back together, including the GPS. I'm gonna set the GPS somewhere in there. I'll probably just stuff it. For best results, for your GPS to work the best, I'll recommend you routing the wire and setting it out somewhere on top of the dash to get the best signal possible. We will not be utilizing it because I'm a big fan of Google Maps through my Android. And that'll be it. I'll put it in, and I'll show you another video shortly. Oh, and this one here on the harness that they sent with this Android radio, we did not use this harness. So, but other than that, we'll get it back together and we'll be back. Final step is put the 4 screws into the radio. Put the bezel on. Press it on in place. And installation is complete. This is a plug and play, clean look. It takes about 1 hour to install, if not less if you're pretty experienced. And that's it.